Welcome to Metaphysical Worldwide Presents, your weekly podcast for all things metaphysical. I'm Jamie Ahern, and I'm sitting in with
Jen Bergeson, and collectively we are the co-founders of Metaphysical Worldwide. On this week's episode, we're going to be talking about the twin flame journey, and there is a lot of information and theories out there about twin flames, what they are, and the purpose of the journey, right? Whether it's a real thing or not, it's also controversial. It's always interesting. And today we're going to explore the soul connection and give our take on the whole damn thing. Aren't we, Jamie?
whole damn thing. Well,
Whole damn thing.
most of the thing, because I don't know the whole damn thing. So this is my learning experience too. But
Yeah.
we should have a disclaimer, Jen, because
Yep.
we cuss like sailors.
Yep.
And if there's little kids in the room, you either want to get them out or put on some headphones.
Do something with
Um,
them.
do something.
We are not
Don't listen to it
responsible
in the
for your
car.
children swearing after they listen to us. So
No,
we just
if
want to
they
say
start
that.
saying shit or fuck, that's on you.
That's completely on you. Right. All right.
Ah, well,
So what is a twin flame? Now you just kind of disclosed something else to us that you really don't know what a twin flame is, right?
yeah, no, I don't.
Okay.
I think I
All right.
might have to Google this.
Okay. Well, while you're doing that, I'm just going to give you an overview of kind of the things that I've heard over the years, right? So,
Hmm.
some people describe it as one soul that's split into two bodies, right? Others insist that it's just another way to describe a soul connection, something deeper than a soulmate. And
Hmm.
usually, um, a twin flame journey will propel your spiritual journey, or it kind of like, in other words, enhances it in some way. Um, the people on a twin flame journey, the two people, um, are very much psychically connected, right? Either through dreams or telepathy, et cetera, something like
Huh.
that. And I've had my own experience with this, and I will be talking about that. But just quickly, how did your Google search go?
Well, yeah, there's lots of stuff out here.
Yeah,
You
exactly. That's
Google will
problem.
give you everything, but it
Exactly.
looks like the general consensus is a twin flame is an intense soul connection with someone thought to be a person's other half, sometimes called a mirror soul. And it's based on the idea that sometimes one soul gets and splits into two bodies. But it looks like the main characteristic of a twin flame relationship is more like they're both challenging and healing. It's not just romantic partners, it could also be best friends, mentors, and these people who feel connected. It's not always physical, but it's emotional, it's soulful, it's spiritual. Like there's just so much more is what I'm getting
Yeah.
out of that. And
Yeah.
and
It's
this
super
is
in
sounds
depth.
like a dumb question, but can it be more than one person? Like, can you have a twin flame with more than one person?
Well, here's interestingly enough, I'm glad you asked that question. They have what's called a false twin. You may
Hmm.
experience a false twin, somebody that you think is your twin flame, because everything seems to line up with what people are Googling out there. You're like, oh, this has got to be
Right,
my
right.
twin. And in fact, they actually turn out to be some kind of a karmic partner, right?
Oh, okay.
Um, so I think, and that's where it's like, and we've said this before, we said this in our show a couple weeks ago when we talked about personal truth. We
Right.
talked about, look, it's great to go out and listen to other people's stories. It's great to get
Hmm.
information from different sources to try to figure out where you are with your spiritual journey. I'm going to say the same thing about twin flame relationships, right? You got to have a baseline, a starting point.
Right.
My twin flame, um, when I met her, okay, and it is a same sex twin flame thing going on here, and we're going to talk about why that is, right, and how that can
Okay, good.
happen. Yeah, but
Yeah, I
when
have
I
lots
met
of
her,
questions.
yes, I'm here for it. I'm here to answer. But when I met her, I literally had no idea what a twin flame relationship was. However, I absolutely knew 100% that the connection that I had with her was unlike any connection I have ever had. It was it was really that deep, and it was that
Right.
instant, and it was that magnifying, and it racked my brain, because don't forget when I first met her, that's when I was really kind of just getting into the meditation and kind of
Right.
finding my way spiritually, and it just catapulted everything.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
So this was at the beginning of your journey,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
your personal truth journey. Check out our podcast if you have questions about that.
Yeah.
But so this was
Correct.
kind of at the beginning of all that, and it was just like it sparked something
It
in
sparked
you.
a lot. It sparked a lot. It
Now,
was bumpy ride. Go ahead.
can your personal flame, like, I know we're gonna
My
obviously
personal flame.
probably have, I
My
mean,
personal
your twin flame,
Well, she
Jesus,
I know, I could call her a personal flame, go ahead.
it's it, I'm fucking mixing the two. It's
I
been a
know,
long
I hear
fucking
you.
day.
It
I
has been.
swear.
It's okay, go ahead.
Um, so your twin flame, is this something like, and maybe we'll talk about this in another episode, but like something from past, like past life, could could they
Well,
flow with you in that sense?
so my twin and I have had like 3 different past lives that I've experienced under hypnosis and through other ways of getting that information.
Hmm.
And obviously each time was a complete surprise. So in my case, yes, but I can't say that's true for everybody. And why would I say that? It's because not everybody does past life regression.
Right. Yeah.
Right?
Yeah,
Not everybody has
exactly.
had a real experience to say, "Oh, you know what? I know I've had this experience and I can, connect the dots or
Yeah.
put the puzzle together," right? So I
Hmm.
think when you're doing work on a twin flame journey, I would highly suggest to people get a past life regression done. Highly suggest it,
Yeah.
right? Because it is going to help you, and you're going to be shown through those past. Not that we're talking about past life regressions today, but just to illustrate why it's important to give you the why behind it. Because you are going to be shown what you need to be shown. You're going to be shown the life that you need to know about.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
if your intention is to focus on a specific person that you think may be your twin flame, then it's quite possible that your guides will show you that through that
Hmm.
past life regression experience. And I think that that's a really important point.
I still need to get one done and a past life regression, but you won't do it
Yeah.
because it's virtual. But it's okay.
Well,
I'm
if I
telling
had
you.
listen, wait a minute. Before we continue with our show, let's tell we finally met in person.
We did.
We finally
People,
met oh, people.
7 years in the making.
7 years
We've
in the
known each
making.
other virtually, been
Yeah,
best friends virtually for 7 years.
7
And this
years.
past weekend, we finally met in person, got
Sat
to high
down.
five all of our
Yeah.
awesomeness,
Yes.
and enjoyed a
Yes.
nice lunch. It was so nice where we were.
Oh, it was
I've already
gorgeous.
told my
Yeah.
husband we're going back because I want to go and like
Yeah.
stay. And it was right there in the bay here down in Florida.
Mhm.
Um, it was just a really
Yeah,
great
in Punta
visit. So
Gorda it was. Punta Gorda
yeah,
we were. Yeah.
yeah, that's a funny word. I just every time I'm a child at
Well,
heart, but
it is what
I
it
think
is,
of
but
so many disturbing
hey,
things when I
I did
say Punta Gorda.
I didn't name the city, so I I just say the
But
city,
it's
right?
a little beautiful. It is a
Yeah.
beautiful little town. So it
Yeah, but
was
that's
so
just
great to
it
see you in
was
person.
yeah, it was great, and
Finally.
we were just joking about that a couple weeks ago when we're
Hmm.
like, "Oh, we've never even seen each other." But yeah, it was really a wonderful thing, to see you, and I was like I said, "Oh, Jamie, do I am I much different in person?" And you're like, "Yeah, you're a lot shorter than I thought you'd be." Which is like, "Oh my god. God."
I did. I don't know. For some reason, you got this like five,
Presence. Yeah.
6, 5, 7 presence.
Yeah.
So
I
that's what
know.
I expected. You're larger than life, Jen.
I'm
That's
larger
what
than
it
life,
is.
but when in person, I'm short. I'm a short little stocky, Viking-looking potato, I guess. I don't know. I don't know what I am.
You're still beautiful. You were still beautiful. It was
Uh,
just we've only seen from like waist up.
right,
Like we've
right.
never seen.
Yeah, but that's okay.
So
I mean, yeah, we had a great time and we're gonna do it again soon, hopefully. I want you to come up
yeah.
to New England where I am, and I want to show
Oh,
you
I
around,
know.
so that'll be great. But
That's
anyway,
the
let's get back to the
next
show.
next
I
stop.
feel I feel bad for taking that detour, but it was important because there's people who are listening to us and they are following our journey, right? They're following the
Yeah.
metaphysical worldwide journey, so I thought I would just bring everybody up to speed. But getting back to something that I said earlier about, my twin flame, like I'm a female, she's a female, and people are like, well, I don't understand because it's supposed to be the divine masculine, the divine feminine.
Oh yeah.
That
Hmm.
is true. But when we're talking about twin flames, what we're really talking about is energy,
Okay.
soul energy. Your soul does not have a gender, right? It just doesn't. It's your soul is made of energy, and every single one of us has a combination of masculine and feminine energy, right?
Okay.
And that has
So,
nothing to do, by the way, of how we present. That's
right,
completely
how we were
different.
born
How
and
we
things
were
like that,
born
or
has nothing to
how
do
we
with
feel.
correct. It has nothing
Do
to
you
do with
think you can do a detour and just say really quick what is divine masculine and divine feminine? Maybe just a little for those that aren't clear on what that is.
yeah, well, I think, it's basically so even though those energies are it's not the way that you present yourself as your physical self.
Gotcha.
It is energy that moves together like a yin and yang.
Mm.
Life
Mm.
is formed with a male and a female. We know this.
Right.
Life is that's how
Yes.
life is
Yes.
formed. Unless you're a
Right.
snail, and because I guess snails can produce by themselves, right? I only know this
Ah,
because I got a snail for my fish tank. But and I'm really creeped out about it too. That's a whole other show.
yeah, that's a
Um,
whole other topic.
Right. But, to me, to formally, I guess, formally define what the divine masculine and the divine feminine is, it takes me back to my roots as a witch, where we talk about the goddess and the god, creators
Hmm.
of the universe, right? We talk about the balance of nature with
Hmm.
in the balance and bringing of life, of bringing a masculine and a female together to create life, right?
Right,
That's what
right,
I think
right.
about. But we're not so but
This is more energy. This is
to label,
more,
well, that's the thing. Then that's the thing when we're talking about energy, because
you can't label
energy,
it.
well, because um it's not a gender, and it's not a biological sex. Energy is just
Right.
energy. you can't
Yeah.
you can't label it, but there are aspects within the energy
Hmm.
that are going to be yin and yang, and that makes us
Gotcha.
whole. So that's my personal definition. Other people out there may disagree, but again, we
Yeah.
always say
This is
this,
our,
our thing is not up for debate, right? So
no, this
we
is
say
just,
things. If it resonates with you, fine. If it doesn't, that's
doesn't,
fine too.
yep.
But the divine masculine and divine feminine. So in my case, or in any case, you can have a same-sex twin. You can.
Okay.
Okay, but
Hmm.
one is going to have um, and this is what makes it so funny, because everything with us seems opposite. Like we are staring into a mirror, and that's what's so funny, because I am more, I guess, masculine presenting.
Yeah.
I'm not like the girly girl, right? Like you're a
Right.
girly girl, I'm not, right? But she's a girly girl. But
Yes.
interestingly enough, in our pairing, she's actually the divine masculine. I am actually the divine feminine. And why?
Mm.
After so much journaling and meditation, it finally clicked with me that the reason I'm like, oh my God, that's so weird that I'm the divine feminine half of this.
Right.
First of all, I'm the chaser for sure.
You are. Yeah.
She's the runner. Then and that traditionally is another thing when we talk about divine masculine,
Hmm.
divine feminine. The masculine's always going to be the runner. The feminine's always going to be the chaser. Google
Okay.
that and you're going to find it. But the other interesting thing is that I was very career focused, very money focused, very let me, goal oriented, all the
Hmm.
things that traditionally, when you look at men in the world, that's what they do. They're providers,
Yeah.
they
The
do that,
providers.
the providers, right? And that's who,
Traditionally, let's just say
well,
traditionally.
we're going to say traditionally. Yeah, I don't want to stereotype or put. There's
No,
going
we're
to be
not.
people out there that's going to be mad about this anyway, and I don't really care.
But we're
I'm
not
just,
putting
yeah,
people in boxes. This is
we're
just
not. I'm just saying
us.
this is my personal experience. So anyway, so that's who I was, but I was not good at articulating my needs. I wasn't good
Mm.
at setting boundaries. I wasn't good at.
Yeah,
There's a lot of things that are more related to feminine energy. I would
I
think
see.
that
Yeah.
I just didn't know how to do, or didn't consider for myself. Whereas she was very good at that, articulating needs and setting boundaries, and she's the one who taught me about boundaries. It was
Hmm.
pretty funny actually. But then I started seeing very slowly the roles shifting,
Okay.
very slowly. over time, those roles shifted where she all of a sudden, in fact, when I first met her, I'll never forget. We were at her house and she looked at me and she said, "Hey, I've been living in poverty my whole life." She's like, "I'll be in poverty for the rest of my life and I really don't care." Like like making money and having a career didn't seem to phase her. But I looked
Right.
at that and I just thought, "Oh, that's so endearing. Like I wish I could be like that," you know.
Yeah, at the
That type
time,
of at
yeah.
the time, yeah. So anyway, but I saw our roles shifting where she started to get interested like, well, maybe I'll go back to school or maybe I'll go
Mhm.
and get a professional license in something or maybe I'll do this or maybe I'll do that. Like she was super like I want to make money. I want like and me, I was like, wait a minute, my needs aren't being met. Like,
Yeah.
I feel like I need to articulate how I feel. Like I started having all of these feelings, which was like weird.
Feelings.
I had
I'm
feelings for the
having
I
feelings.
yeah, and so it was really bizarre. And but when I took a step back and I started looking, because don't forget, a lot of the things that we talk about when we talk about healing and our journeys and spirituality, I talk about patterns and trends because that's the only way you're going to be able to
Yes.
see,
Yeah,
from a
right.
larger, broader view, what is really
Mhm.
happening to you and what do you keep repeating, right?
Yeah, I mean,
So
we discuss that a lot when we do
yeah,
our intuitive life coaching with our clients
we
is
do, we
let's
do.
let's let's find the pattern, let's see
Yep,
what keeps repeating, let's
correct.
let's try to let's tweak this because clearly what you've been doing is not um it's not working. So, yeah.
Correct. Yeah. Correct. So, when I started looking at this and I'm writing all this down and I'm making timelines. You know me because it's like I need
I
something
do. I could
tangible.
see you. I could see you doing with the Have you ever watched
Yeah.
The Big Bang Theory?
No, I actually don't like
Okay.
that show. It's I
What?
don't
Okay, we can't
I
be
don't
friends no more. I don't know what's
I'm
happening right
sorry.
now.
I don't like the show. I really there's something about it. I just think that they're overly
Anyways,
it doesn't matter. I don't want to get into it.
we're not gonna talk about it this anymore.
Yeah, I'm not going to
What
think
I
it's
was gonna
funny.
say is they sit there with the boards and they have timelines and they draw things out. I could just picture you doing that. That was my point. Okay, go.
Well, yeah, I mean, but it helps me see like from a different perspective where I am and what's going on and what's happening, and helps me pivot in my life. So I think it's very useful. But I did the same thing with this twin flame journey, and I'm like looking at the timeline, and I'm like, oh my God, because her and I were going to separation. I mean, and I'll tell you, the separation for me was so painful, right? For her,
Yeah.
it did. For her, it wasn't even like I don't think it phased her really, except for the first time, because she did disclose to me when we came back together. She's like, I had to go tell my therapist about this. It was like someone died. That's what she
Oh,
said.
wow.
I had known her for like 2 months. The from
Oh,
the first time we went into separation, her and I had known each other for about 2 months. So you're telling me you and this is what always surprised me about it, right? You're
yeah.
telling me that after 2 months, you literally felt like the loss of someone like, the grief of someone dying when we went into separation? It's like but she's been in denial about this whole twin flame thing, which I totally get. I'm not blaming her. I send her love. I'm not gonna blame her, but I'm just saying I'm trying to illustrate the point that that's how deep that
Yes.
soul connection is,
Yes.
because that's what it feels like, right?
Right.
Um, but the
Now,
healing go ahead.
you said this can be it doesn't have to be like a lover or a boyfriend or a girlfriend or whatever, but it could be like could it be an ex or could it be like a teacher? Like it, how do you know?
So, well, because based off of the amount of times that you come in and out of each other's lives and and the amount of healing and the amount of triggers that occur. That's your first indication. To answer your
Oh,
question more
we got to talk
directly,
about this trigger business.
that's next, but I just want to answer your question about that. Um, it was who can it be? Could it be a
Yeah,
teacher?
who
Could it be
could it
this?
be?
Well,
A
listen,
mentor, teacher,
it's not
anybody?
necessarily designed to be
I
a
don't mean
physical.
teacher like that. I meant just person. Sorry. That
Yeah,
just
I don't.
sounded weird when I said
It did sound a little weird. Um, but it's not necessarily
that.
designed to be like the union is not necessarily designed to be a physical union. I mean, and there are
Hmm.
some twin flames who do work their shit out and get married and have a great fucking life together, and good for them. I'm not bitter. I'm just saying,
I'm not bitter
okay,
at all, but
I'm
good
not
for
bitter.
fucking them.
Good for fucking them, right? But the I know. But but the bigger point is that you come into union with yourself. And that's really the at the core of the journey, is for that person to come into your life to show you really what needs to be healed, really what needs to be focused on, worked on, and it's going to be the toughest work you've ever done. Because
Mm.
it's so painful, because you love them so much. Honestly, you'll never love anybody like you love your twin. Never, never, never.
Oh, wow. Wow, wow,
But
wow.
it doesn't mean you can't love anybody else either. I want to make that very clear. We're going to talk about that too, because
Okay.
that's an important point. But so when we talk about the healing, um, that your twin is going to show you things, like she showed me things. And by the way, it's not orchestrated. She has no idea. She's not doing it on purpose. It
Yeah.
is divine. It is divine intervention for yourself. That's what it is.
Wow.
She's
Okay.
like the messenger from the divine creator, in my
Yeah.
opinion, to say, "Hey, this happened in your childhood. Okay, great. Now I'm going to come in. I'm going to do the exact same thing. I'm going to trigger you. Your PTSD will reoccur, and you're going to have to figure it
Mhm.
out, right? And by the way, while I do that, now I'm going to leave your ass. That's kind of
Oh,
like
damn.
you're going to do it by yourself, right? And she did that so many times for so many different things. And it was like, even the last time, because we're currently in separation now, even the last time that she triggered me, and I'm almost embarrassed to tell the story, to be honest with you, but I'm gonna tell it anyway because I don't care.
We're fucking
Um,
real here, Jen.
we're fucking real. I gotta be real. But it was I had, and it was so funny because before I tell you the story, I want to tell you this. I was using my pendulum one night,
Uh-huh.
and I asked the question about separation with her. And pendulum says, "Yeah, you're going to go back into separation." I said, "Okay, well, is it going to be am I going to be the one to create the separation?" Never thinking in a million years that it would be me. Never,
Right.
because I would never have left her. Never,
Yeah.
ever, ever, ever. Sure and shit, pendulum says, "Yeah, you're going to be the one, actually." So I was like, "Oh, this pendulum," I almost threw it out the window. I was like, "This is bullshit. This is never going to happen." Right? And I think we all do that. People who do divination and stuff, they get pissed at their tarot cards and their other divination tools. But anyway, she had posted something online somewhere. I'm not even going to say where. I'm not going to, I'm not saying her name, but it was like a racy picture. It was
Mm.
like a racy
Mhm.
photo, and I thought to myself, "What in the fuck are you doing?" Like it felt like such a personal attack. For some
Yeah.
reason, it was like
For
it
some
from
reason, it
and
just
all I kept thinking about was, "Oh my God, what about your career? What about your career?" And I
yeah.
have always been so when you think about your twin flame, they are you in a way,
Yeah.
where you're
Yeah.
like, "Oh my God, my career," and it's not even me
Yeah.
putting the racy picture online. Literally trashed my house. I literally went nuts and started flipping shit over. I was out of control. It was the biggest trigger I think I've ever had. And then I wrote her this huge long email, and I was like, "You know what? I can't do this anymore. I'm not doing this anymore." And then that was it. We've been in separation now for over 2 years,
Yeah.
you know. And then
And
later
didn't
on,
you do
well,
some
hold
kind
on.
of
Wait,
oh,
wait. Before I get into that, I want to tell you that the whole time I was blaming her,
yeah,
angry,
yeah.
angry at her. "Oh, it's your fault. Oh, it's this. It's you." And then finally one day it clicked with me about a year, I would say a little more than a year later.
Yeah.
I said, "You know what? It actually wasn't her fault." Like she's just living her life.
She's
She
just living
this
her best life.
She's just living her best life, just being her, and
Yeah,
I'm sitting
minding her own
here
business like
minding
normal.
like usual, and I'm sitting here taking it personally, but why am I taking it personally? And I think it was kind of like, for me, I just felt like all of the work that I had put into something in my own career,
Mhm.
because my own career was also falling apart at that time.
Ah, yeah. Mhm.
So it was kind of like I really felt like, holy shit, I'm gonna lose it all. But I was projecting, and
Right.
all these
Projecting.
all these things. And I was also like, this fucking career that I didn't even want. Anyway, flash forward
We
after
got to talk about projecting one episode because that's huge.
we're definitely going to, but flash forward, after I had pretty much come out of that mindset. Actually, let's talk about the cord cutting first.
Yeah,
'Cause
it's
you wanna talk
something.
about that, and let's talk about this
Well,
in a linear
because
fashion, the
there
story.
is because, we you said because I've been with you through this, and I'm done. I'm doing a cord cutting ceremony. I'm
Oh, the
cutting this
cord cutting.
cord. I'm getting
Hey,
her
listen,
out of my life. I'm over this.
I'm over it.
My friend's coming over. We're doing it. And I'm like,
Oh, yeah, I
what
had,
kind of
my friend.
cord? What are you doing?
Yeah, my friend
Um,
Diane did it for me, which she's an
yeah.
amazing witch, an amazing friend. We're gonna have her on the show soon. And and I trust her with my life. So I was like, "Yeah, you're gonna do this cord cutting," and she did. She did a great job, and I felt okay for I think a week, and then all of a sudden my body literally started shutting down.
Oh boy.
Um,
Yeah.
and it's not, listen, it's not Diane's fault. It's I started
No.
researching about cord cutting with twin flames, and it was like, everyone's like, don't do it. Don't do it. You're going to regret it because it's like you're
Oh.
cutting your own soul. You're cutting
And
that.
you didn't research this prior, did you?
No, of course not. It's kind of,
Why? Why would you?
why would I? Why would I? I thought I knew what I was doing. But it also felt like my chakras were all out of alignment.
Oh
I fell into
wow.
a really deep depression. Like all these things were happening. My life really did fall apart. So for anybody out there who thinks it's a wise idea to do a cord cutting with a twin flame, I would strongly suggest that you pause on
Yeah.
that.
Look into it. Do
Give
some
it some
research.
pause. Give it some pause. Because later on, much
You
later
did
on,
you did go into a really bad place for
yeah.
a little bit,
Oh, yeah, of course. But much later on, once I transitioned my career and I was feeling better, I said, you know what? Let me go out for a walk, because I don't think I had even been outside in a year. I just kind of
yeah,
like, it was horrible. So I go on this walk and all of a sudden, I'm thinking to myself, what is it about that other job that I just left? Because now I'm starting a new job that I really, really want that I think is a much better fit for me. What is
right?
it about that job? And then all of a sudden it was like, and remember we talked about intuition, it was kind of like I don't see
Yes.
things, I
Yeah.
don't necessarily hear things, but thoughts just come into my head. And it was like,
Yep.
what information came to me was basically saying to me, because you took that job so that you could take care of that girl, but that's not what you wanted. You didn't put
Oh,
yourself first. I started laughing in the middle of the woods because I was like, oh my God, they're fucking right. They're fucking right. I took a job that I didn't want because I thought, oh, I got to be a provider
the
and
provider.
yes, yes. And it was
Oh,
like,
full circle.
full circle. So now I'm doing something that I love and that I'm much
Yeah.
better suited for, and,
Yeah.
um, I don't have to worry about her.
You
But it was
don't. You
like
put
those are
yourself first. You
yeah,
finally are
so
putting yourself first.
right. So when we're talking about, the online post that she made and how I felt attacked and everything, it was like because I gave up part of me to make you happy,
Right.
and
Because she
now
did never
and it was
asked you
like,
to.
She not no, and it's not about that. It's about me with my own growth and
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
my own
But these are
insight.
things that twin
These are the
flame can draw
yes.
out of you. These are
This is
things that could come out, and
these are the
so
triggers. These are the
these
triggers.
so we talk about that triggers. What do you what goes into that? Like how do you heal from that?
So, well, we've already determined and established that nobody is going to trigger you more than your twin flame. I mean, really,
Right,
your
right.
job is to recognize those triggers. And again, through my personal story, I hope that people understand there's no one clear way that you may recognize it's a trigger. You may not recognize it for a year, like I did.
Yeah. Or for a
Okay,
while, like, oh
for a
shoot.
while. So but that's part of the work too, is to work
Yeah.
through any anger or bitterness towards that person
Can I just side
because,
note? The word trigger is so annoying.
yeah,
It's just everywhere now. Everybody says it all the time, but I get what you're
I don't know. Do you have a
saying.
better word?
I
I
wish I
don't know
had
what
a
else to
better
call it.
fucking word. I wish I had a better fucking word because you know what? Everything triggers somebody and it's like,
Yeah,
you know, but it's the only word to use and that's unfortunate.
that's that's all we got. That's all I got. So just bear with
So
me for the rest of the show,
I will and it's okay.
because the words
So
come in more than
I
probably a
love
couple more
it.
times.
I love it.
So basically, um, you're also going to be triggered in a way that kind of, like I said before with my story, she really put the mirror up to me about
Mm,
my
mhm.
childhood and things I didn't never even recognized from my
Right.
childhood. So she's showing me these things. Um, one of the hardest parts about the healing is that you may be working with a twin flame that is not awakened to the fact that you're twin flames, and
Yeah.
that's gonna make it more difficult
Yeah.
for
So
everybody.
what do you do with that? Like, what if the barista at Starbucks is my twin flame and I've been going there for the last, you know, couple months realizing they don't even realize it? Can it just be like that? It can't just be like a
Y-
barista, right?
No, absolutely not. It's going to be someone that it's like a very deep connection, a very magnetic connection.
Okay.
I mean, her and
But they
I
might not
had
be realizing it yet, is what you're
I don't,
saying.
yeah, they might want to, they may not recognize, may not want to admit it, may not want to.
Are you drawn to each other? So is it more, did it feel like you like magnetized, like you were drawn to each other? That's what I'm
Um,
picturing in my mind.
Absolutely, because I couldn't, you know, her and I could not be in a room together without that, and everyone around us felt it too. And that was the interesting
Mm,
part because we had a rather large group of friends that we all, mutual friends, and it was like everyone would see it. Everyone saw it.
yeah.
Everyone would see it, and it was really like I remember. I don't know. We went to some restaurant and this song, the piano guy started playing a song, and all of a sudden, out of the blue, she asked me if I wanted to dance, which I thought was really nice, but I was scared to death. And that was the other thing. Like, there's a lot of fear in the twin flame dynamic.
Oh,
And she's the only woman who's ever scared me to death, ever. Like, I mean, she's gorgeous too. I mean, if you saw her, it would be like, well, why, what would you be afraid of? Look at this woman. She's beautiful.
yeah,
But she scared me to death, to
right.
death.
Because
It was
it's
like, it's like I didn't want to get,
stuff.
yeah, I didn't want to get close and this and that. But anyway, so we went up there to dance, and after the dance, my friend had said to me, she says, "You wouldn't believe it." She says, "You guys are up there dancing. The entire restaurant stopped to watch you."
Mm,
I said, "What do you mean? Are they upset?" Because I'm thinking, "Oh, two girls up there dancing."
yeah,
And
yeah.
she's like, "No, no, it had nothing to do with that." She's like, "No, it's they just all were like watching and
You
just
could see it.
you could
It's just the
feel the love
energy, the
the
love.
you could feel the love in the room, and it was like, I think that's one of the things that takes me back, and I'm like, damn, that now that's power. That's power, but
Yeah, yeah.
that's those two energies coming together
Hmm.
and even being in union for such a small period of time, right? On that dance
Yeah.
floor, it made the entire room stop, which I thought was very interesting from a scientific lens. But
From a scientific lens.
well, yeah, because I like to collect data like that
You
and say, well,
do. I
why
tell
would it be
you,
like that?
you
But
do.
yeah, so um it can't be just a barista down the street. It can't be
Okay.
just anyone. You're going to have this magnetic
They may
thing.
come into your life, in and out of your life at different periods, but there's just like always that magnetic just draw. And
I have never gone into separation and then come out of separation and not had the same dynamic with her.
okay, cool, cool.
That's the other
I
thing
understand.
because sometimes you'll like, let's say it was just like a regular friend and maybe you had a falling out and now you're kind of like
Yeah.
talking again or something. There's always something you can't put your finger on it, but this feels a little bit different, right? But with the twin
Huh.
flame, it's much different because it was just like boom, like we just picked up right where we left off.
Okay. That
Affection,
might,
everything. So it was just
that
like,
sounds
wow, this
like
is really,
my friend that I've had for a long time.
yeah. But you
Okay.
also have to take into account the triggers, right, that come along and the healing
Oh
and the
yeah, there's
insight.
lots of those.
So there's a lot of different components to this twin flame journey that, you know, that's why I say a lot of people they'll say, "Oh, this is my twin flame," but maybe it's really a false twin flame, right? Because
Gotcha.
you're not getting the benefit. Um, so as you heal and work on your soul growth, you can become out of alignment with your twin.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
when her and I first met, we were very, very much aligned vibrationally. It was like
Mm-hmm.
it was scary. Like I said, I had never felt so close to anybody. However, as I started growing and doing the work on myself,
Right.
it was almost like I could feel the separation. It wasn't bothering me anymore. In fact,
Yeah.
There were 2 times that I was like, "You know what? Fuck this. I don't wanna do this." And I had said,
Yeah.
I don't 2 times that I physically, or not physically, but I put us into separation twice. And
Yeah.
that's because I had grown so much. I had kind of created boundaries for myself. Whether I articulated those to her or not doesn't matter. I created them for
You
myself.
did for yourself because
I was speaking.
you were focusing on you at that point.
Well, yeah, and that's the whole point, and that's the beautiful thing. So this is what normally happens in the runner chaser dynamic is once the chaser starts healing, in that alignment changes, now boom, it flips and it's like
Mhm.
the chaser now becomes the runner.
Yeah.
And
Okay.
that's
Okay.
why, and so now at this point, I feel like, "Hey, I'm the runner. I don't need this connection in my life." I'm thankful for it and
Yeah.
really, really appreciative of everything that she's done for me because she's done an enormous amount. But I don't
Right.
need the connection. If she comes back, she comes back, but she's gotta come back healed, and that's the whole thing because, again, I
Yeah.
have my boundaries, you know?
Yeah, so
And
you
I
go through a lot, right? You go through a lot of
yeah,
journey and shadow work, and once
yeah.
you start healing and you do all this shadow work and you do all this, journey, personal journeys, you become a different person because now you are a better version of yourself.
Yeah, I mean, the whole point is to focus on yourself and not them. That's the whole point. And through that shadow work, because now that we're talking about shadow work again, which it's just never a dull subject, really.
Yeah,
But
it's never.
but the kind of you will crash and burn.
Mhm.
It's like a spiritual crash and burn due to the enormous amount of shadow work that's needed to kind of get out of dark night of the soul. Dark night of the soul is something that traditionally happens in a twin flame dynamic. It's the deepest, darkest place where everything it feels like everything hits you at once. And you
Yeah.
don't know what to fix first, and you don't know what to
Yeah.
work on first because you're just pepper sprayed with all kinds of things.
Things, everything. Yeah.
And
Okay.
it's kind of like the job of your twin to help trigger it. You could be in separation with them, or you could be heading
Uh-huh.
towards a separation when Dark Night of the
Mm,
Soul occurs.
okay. So, what if you are going through this journey now? Like, what are some things that we can do, or I mean, if you're
Well,
going through this journey?
don't wait for union. That's the number one thing.
Don't
You,
don't sit around thinking that, okay, this person's my twin flame. We're going to be together and I'm
yeah,
going
don't even
to
care
wait
about
for them
don't
and
even care about it.
yeah,
Yeah, don't care about it because here's why. Here's why. You're always going to be connected, even
always.
if you can't feel them as strongly as you once did. Um, that's okay. You've got to live your life, man.
Mhm.
Don't sit and wait for years to go by, waiting for this one person to come back to you, waiting for them to get their shit together so you guys can be in union. No, go out on that date if you want. Go
Yeah.
find yourself a soulmate and settle down with. Go have the time of your life. This is your life, right?
Yeah.
So that's
Continue
number
working
one.
on your own journey.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah.
Your twin is going to feel it anyway, even if you're in separation. They're going to feel it.
Yeah.
They're going to feel your growth. That's going to help inspire them to continue to do their work.
That's good.
A lot of this happens in the ethereal. I can't tell you how many times I'll start seeing somebody new, and then boom, all of a sudden I'm going to have a dream about my twin. It's never her whole body or anything. It's just her eyes come through. And like she's staring at me. She's like, what the fuck are you doing with her? You know what I mean? It's almost like she's like, what in the fuck? Like there's this really
Oh my
kind of like
God.
very, very strong energy that comes through in these dreams. And it's always when I'm starting something new with someone else. Um,
Yeah.
but you know what? I'm not gonna wait for her. I'm not waiting.
Nope.
I mean, it's just I'm happy to move on,
Yeah, exactly.
if we don't want to get our shit together, that's fine. Um, Release everything,
Yeah.
release the need, the want. Um, do it with gratitude. Okay, we don't have to be bitter, right? We don't have to be bitter. We can just go ahead and release them with love, release them with gratitude. No one is going to love you more than your twin flame. No one is going to be there to help support you more than your twin flame. And I think that that's really important, a really important point to get out. So it's not going to be sometimes easy, right? Like I had to kind of figure that out a year and some odd months later and be like, oh, it really wasn't her
Yeah.
fault. It was really me.
Yeah.
But
'Cause I was
still,
there when it was rough. So, yeah,
oh,
sometimes you
I was a
gotta
mess. I was a
yeah.
mess. I mean, it
But
took
look at you now.
look
Look
at
at
me
you
now.
now.
Look at me now. And
That's
like
great. So
regardless, again, I can't stress this enough. Regardless of what you hear or what you read online,
mhm,
or even what I'm saying, if my personal story doesn't resonate with you and you're like, oh, that doesn't sound like, then fine, it doesn't resonate. But
that's
I can
fine.
tell you with the way that I track things and make timelines and and journal, um,
Yep.
I wasn't gonna believe it until I was able to gather my evidence, my personal
Yep.
evidence, and actually look back at it and say, "Yeah, you know what? This bitch is my twin," you know? So
Yeah.
it's kind of like you have to
Do
do
y
you. You have
yeah,
to do
do your
you.
research, do your own personal journey because this is your journey. This isn't anyone else's. This was a
Right.
good topic, Jen. Like, it was
I
very
mean, we probably
interesting
could
and
have done
inspiring.
another, like, maybe a part 1 and a part 2, but it's very in depth.
It is.
It really is, and the more you listen to other people's stories about their experience, again, that's kind of like helping you build your own foundation
It
for
does.
what
Yeah.
is your journey going to be like with your twin if you feel like you have found your twin. Some people don't even feel like they have found their twin, and that's okay. Don't go looking for them.
Yeah.
Believe me.
Don't
Let
go
me
out
tell you
there looking
something.
for them.
Let me tell you something. Your twin flame will literally find you when you're ready.
Yep.
And
I love
that's
that.
that's 100%. I mean,
There we go.
don't go looking in
Don't go
places you don't
looking.
belong.
Don't exactly. It's going to happen in its own time. The universe has a plan
Exactly.
and it happens in its own time. Just continue the journey to grow yourself and be
Yeah.
yourself and do yourself.
All right.
Long day.
Yeah, long day. We're gonna end it here. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Join us again next Wednesday for another original podcast. We are going to be talking about next Wednesday. I believe we're going to be doing the Don't Take It Personally, Living Life with Compassion, Forgiveness, and Empathy, which is always fun to talk about. And don't forget to check out the website, www.metaphysicalworldwide.com.
Yep. There you can find and read our weekly blogs, check out our other services, and you can even book a free 30-minute consultation for an intuitive life coaching session. Um, and do you have the desire to help people? Well, if you do, you can enroll in our intuitive life coaching course. That'll be on the website. So remember, no matter where you are in your journey, our purpose is you.